What's up, you guys? Speed here. I'm sorry about the low quality. My last video kind of really messed up, so with the sound and all that, and I want to see if this video probably does better with the sound. So if not, then this review video will probably take a little bit longer. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. My last video was kind of like that, but I hope this video does better. If it does, then hey, it's here, and I'm here to talk about it. But what I really wanted to discuss was about the Suicide Squad movie. You know, and in my first video, it was just a full-on review as to what I thought about it, what I liked, what I didn't like, and all that. But after like a good week to marinate on it, I decided that this video isn't just going to be so much a review as much as it's kind of just going about how critics are basically doing this movie, how they're doing the DCEU, and how they're really screwing up their reviews just to make the DCEU and Suicide Squad look bad. So without further ado, for this review I want to talk about the characters, the story, what was good and what was bad. I'm just keeping it like small this time. So all around, my feelings about it is that yes, I did like the Suicide Squad, and I thought it was a very epic movie. I got to see it earlier before the actual day it came out. So yeah, I had good seats. I was able to get comfortable, popcorn. I was there with my brother, so that made it more fun. But yeah, all around, I enjoyed the movie. It was a really good film, and I feel like it does not deserve the hate that it has now. The characters in it were just amazing. Margot Robbie really nailed Harley Quinn as a character. Will Smith did his thing as Deadshot. A lot of characters stood out, like El Diablo, Katana, Killer Croc, Boomerang, and all the other cast members. They really did a good job with their characters, especially Amanda Waller. She did well too. I really liked Viola Davis's performance as Amanda Waller as the Wall. Ben Affleck with his small appearances as Batman was very intriguing. He only had like 2 scenes, but the 2 scenes really set the tone for how Batman is in this story. And of course there's Jared Leto as Joker, who I didn't really feel like he really nailed Joker that well, but I did like his performance. He just didn't feel like Joker to me. And the reason for that is probably because of all the cuts that were in the movie, because some scenes were cut out from the original theater release. So maybe if there's like a DVD release that has the deleted scenes on there, maybe I'll have a different opinion on that. But for now, Jared Leto was he was okay as the Joker. Not like the best performance I've ever seen of him, but he did his thing, and I did like how he portrayed him. The characters in this movie, they're all so diverse, and that's just something I never really was expecting from Suicide Squad. Like, I was expecting some diversity, but I didn't expect to really feel for some of these characters, especially El Diablo, who, didn't want to have to fight, but he did so anyway because his family, his new family, the Squad, was being threatened. And, we got a real feel for El Diablo's character, as this man who just wants redemption, who doesn't want to have to go through all this fighting, all this battles, and causing so much havoc. He just wanted to change his life for something better. And that's something understandable, for people of color, They're always put with these stereotypes, but when they want to try and change, it's like, bad habits die hard. But this movie had a lot of diversity in it. I can't complain. There was a lot of diversity. We got to see a lot of the characters. We got to understand these bad guys. And we got to see something that no comic book movie seems to have done in a long time. We feel for the bad guys. We know how they feel now. They're not just bad guys to be bad guys. And it's been done before in comic book movies, yes, but I don't really feel like we've had an entire movie dedicated to bad guys. And that's what I like Suicide Squad for. It's a whole different thing that not even Marvel has actually tried. The closest thing Marvel has tried to doing bad guys in their own movies is Guardians of the Galaxy. But, they weren't really bad guys. They were just like, rough kind of characters who were still good and not just entirely bad. But all in all, the movie was great. I really enjoyed it, and if I had to give a score for it, I would definitely give it an 8 out of 10. It's a good movie, and despite what critics have said about it, it's still amazing. Now for the second part of this video, which I feel was the main gist of why I wanted to do this. The second part of this video is basically talking about critics in general, and how critics have pretty much panned this movie as if it was the worst movie to ever be seen. And there are even some critics who are saying, like, don't go watch this movie because blah 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 and all this. But I'm going to debunk a few things that have been said about this movie that, for those who are thinking about seeing it, who haven't seen it yet, here are a few things that some critics have said that have been entirely wrong about it. One of the things that have been said about it is that it's apparently racist. That some of the characters play these stereotypes, and some of these characters don't exactly fit the mold of, you know, who they're representing. One of these is the character El Diablo, who critics have said is a racist stereotype because he's a drug lord, he's a Latino drug lord with a lot of tattoos on his face. You know, he says some Spanish lines, you know, he says some Spanish words and all that. And the thing about that is, it's not at all racist. I mean, yeah, it could be considered a stereotype, but it's not racist because that's his character. El Diablo is, in character, a drug lord. He's a drug lord, he's part of a gang, he's been part of the streets, he just happens to have fire powers as well. But he's not a stereotype. He's not like this whole image that people have pretty much painted Latinos as. Like loud, speaking Spanish loudly, and all that. Like, this guy wants redemption. He doesn't want to be the whole thing that people paint him as. He wants redemption. And I feel like that's something that was completely missed in some of these critics' reviews. And then there was another review that said that the heavy gun use in this movie was considered bad, and it was apparently bad that Deadshot used guns. But it's like, his name is Deadshot. He uses guns. That's kind of his job. That's who he is. But apparently that's considered a bad thing too, because, I don't know, because apparently he's black, and now black people using guns is apparently a racist thing. Which makes no sense. Like, I get it. We're in a time where white cops are shooting black kids left and right, and it's a very sad time. But don't project that kind of story onto cinema, because it's completely different things. What's going on out here and what's going on in cinema are two different things that should be separated when reviewing a movie. You know, and it's sad. Like, how come this stuff hasn't been talked about with Deadpool? How come we're not talking about Deadpool using guns? Why? Because he's white? Is that the problem going on here? And then here, another, like, review that I think came from, I don't know, Huffington Post or Washington Post, one of them. But apparently another thing is going on here is saying that, Katana is a racist stereotype because she's Japanese and is a samurai. And it's like, well, yeah, she's a samurai. What, would you have rather had some white girl play it? Would that have been better? Would you have rather just whitewash the character in general? Her name is Katana. She is Japanese. The actress is Japanese playing a samurai. That's not racist. That's pretty much their culture. That is their culture, to be samurai. That's who they are. It would have been racist if they pretty much would have just put in a white actress to play her and give her the Japanese name, and her being raised in Japan apparently. That would have been racist. This isn't, though. So I don't understand how people can consider that racist, because she is Japanese. She's a samurai. That's in her culture. And then finally, we have another review from someone from Australia, I think, a critic from Australia. Apparently, he says that in one of the scenes where Batman is rescuing Harley and pulling her out of the water, that he apparently assaulted her and apparently raped her. And it's like, are you serious, though? Like, I don't know what is wrong with these critics. They are just making up a whole lot of nonsense just to make sure that Suicide Squad doesn't do good. And it's like, In that scene, he checked for a pulse, and when he couldn't feel anything, he did CPR. Harley took that chance to, I guess, make out with him, and he stopped her from doing so. And it makes no sense how people are painting these characters. Like, and the worst part is some people are actually believing this. Like, like for people who know Batman, do you honestly think that he would do something like that? And it's just pathetic to see these well-known critics making such a mockery of their career and their credentials just to make sure Suicide Squad doesn't do good. But you know what? It doesn't matter. Their reviews don't matter at all because Suicide Squad is doing phenomenally in box office. It beat Guardians of the Galaxy, it surpassed Deadpool, and it just passed Civil War in box office sales. So you know what? I don't care what critics say anymore. Because as long as these DC movies are doing good, as long as fans love it, and as long as people are seeing the movie with an interest in what DC has to offer, then what critics say means absolutely nothing and shouldn't be considered anything important. I mean, at least it shouldn't be considered important if it's just spreading lies. But my point in this is that DC, yes, it had a rocky start with Man of Steel, and then Batman v Superman came along, which I liked, but yeah, it had some flaws to it. But Suicide Squad, despite having its own flaws, the good outweighs the bad with this movie. It has a lot of action, it has a lot of character development, we get a feel for these characters. Harley Quinn is Harley Quinn in this movie. Jared Leto's performance as Joker, it's okay, but I think people would enjoy that performance because, you know, it's Joker. So, my take on this is that to never listen to what critics have to say when it comes to DC cinematic movies, because most of the time it's probably going to be nothing but crap. And I expect the same kind of garbage to be thrown at Wonder Woman when that movie comes out, because apparently now it's a cool thing to hate the DC cinematic universe now. Now, because Marvel's been around so long, now anything that DC tries to do is going to be considered completely null void. And it's a strange bias that I've noticed. Not saying that Marvel's paying off critics or anything, I'm not saying that. It's just this weird sort of mentality that's been going on where apparently now Marvel, anything that Marvel does is complete perfection and anything DC does is crap. When really, for me, it's the opposite because Marvel has been dwindling when it comes to its quality of movies. And so far, Marvel has been making some really shit decisions, from giving money to Donald Trump to the Nazi Captain America. And then there's the whole thing where they're tearing down Tower of Terror in Disneyland for a Guardians of the Galaxy kind of ride. And yes, I have heard about how Suicide Squad's executive producer did also fund for Donald Trump as well, but that's just it. He's just an executive producer. He has no say in the movie at all. So before people sprout that bullshit, they should do their research on, you know, see both sides of the story instead of just sticking to one. But my point on all this is that you should definitely watch the Suicide Squad movie if you've been if you've had this whole thought where apparently what the critics are saying is right. Well, don't, because most of them are just full of shit. And if you like the movie, you go see it for yourself. If you don't, then you give your own opinion as to why you don't like it, and not base it around what some critic has said about it. You go in with your own mind, your own mentality, and don't let anyone else tell you otherwise. Otherwise, you're not going to enjoy anything. You're not going to be able to say what you like and not what critics like. You have to think for yourself and not think for what others think for you in terms of movies, you know? And really, that's all I have to say about it. Like I said, this isn't a very long video, and I hope the audio is working well. I'll see when I upload it. But if not, I'll give a full review like this at some other time if this video doesn't work that well. I'm pretty sure it will, so, you know. But anyway, that's all I have to say about that. Be sure to like and subscribe my videos. And, you know, starting next week, not next week, but the months coming up now, this video not this video, this channel will most likely be changed a little bit more, because I'll be getting a new editing system so that I can be able to edit my videos a little better. I don't know how that will affect the quality of the video itself, but I'll be able to like edit this video a little bit better so that there isn't as much mistakes that I'm usually making in my videos, you know. I also wanted to work on some Photoshop material, because when I get back to college, I plan to work on my senior project, which features, you know, my own type of movie. I'll probably put trailers on this. Thing. You know, I don't know what you call it, but I'll put videos, update videos, maybe some behind the scenes footage on this channel. That's what you call it. So basically this channel probably in the next few months will be dedicated to me working on my movie. It's still going to be Outspeed, where I give my reviews, give my thoughts, but it's also going to be sharing videos with the movie I'm going to be working in production. So without further ado, that's all I have to say. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys later.